Jalen, I guess just to start, what did you see was the difference today? You guys were able to make comebacks the last few games. What was the difference in this one?
That's just how it goes. They were 20 or 40 from three, and so there's not a lot I could say. It's a lot that we need to discuss tomorrow and figure out, but we need to play with more of a sense of urgency.
Josh and Cal kind of said the same thing, that the urgency wasn't there. Why do you think that was for such a big game, that you didn't have the urgency needed?
I don't think we came with the mindset of being satisfied, but I think it was just subconsciously satisfied being up 2-0, but it's not the way we need to approach the game.
Jalen, you've talked about how your mentality when dealing with social media and the external factors is to flush it away, and kind of ignore the noise. How do you flush this win away, so to speak, but also remember and learn from the mistakes that were committed?
Are you asking me to flush social media or the game?
The game.
Okay. It's not really a flush situation. You got to learn from it. I mean, obviously, it's not a game where we did a lot of things particularly well, but we got to learn from it. It's not something that we can just flush.
And Jalen, you were caught on a lot of switches in the post on Al and Jalen. Schematically and from an execution standpoint, what did you see from the defense tonight?
From our defense?
Yes.
Not covering the 3-point line well. Find myself in situations where I'm on guys, obviously in the post, but I'm going to put up a fight regardless. And just force tough contested twos when I'm in a position like that. So, but we need to go to the 3-point line a little better.
Jalen, obviously, we don't know what specific coverage you guys are supposed to be in on certain plays defensively, but it felt like there was a lack of communication more so tonight than other nights. Would you chalk that up to some of the kind of miscues on that end from you guys?
Yeah, it's definitely a part of it. I think it falls under the same umbrella as like the urgency part. We need to have that on Monday.
Jalen, more specifically, what did you think of your guys' pick and roll coverage, especially during the first half during the game?
Obviously, they're going to shoot their threes however they get them. So, fortunate enough for us that they were missing games 1 and 2. Tonight they made them. When it comes to our pick and roll defense, we're going to have our coverages. We're going to stick to what we do, and we're going to adjust when we need to adjust. But everything that we need to do has to be done with more intensity, more urgency, more force. It's just from that standpoint, like it's not anything schematically. It's more like, do we want it? And tonight, obviously, it wasn't the answer.
Jalen, when a teammate like Mitch is going through that on the foul line, do you try to encourage him? Do you just leave him alone? I mean, what's the approach in that situation?
You encourage. It's a tough position to be in, especially mentally. No, but you got to encourage. Like, we're gonna have each other's back regardless, and so no matter what happens, we're gonna win together. We're gonna lose together. We're gonna go through that together.
Jalen, this is the third game in a row where you guys have been down big, and obviously the comeback didn't happen tonight. Just are you seeing any common thread in how they're building these leads or how you guys are falling behind that you guys can address for game 4?
Yeah, the first half needs to be a lot better. You cannot play catch up with a team like this consistently. Sorry.
Jalen, you mentioned subconsciously satisfied. Is it just because you went in and came back from 20 points down and, were able to make, magic happen on the road? And is it harder to do that at home after you've done that on the road?
I mean, regardless, it's hard to do. But for us as a team, we don't want to be in that position at all. So we just got to be better when it comes to starting games and making sure we're not in that position.
Joe, you guys have 1 and 3 here in the playoffs. You've obviously been great on the road. What do you make of why you haven't played as well here?
I want to say this is our first loss. It wasn't, what, a one-possession game? So I don't think it's necessarily not playing well here. This is obviously our home, the best place to play, but just tonight it just wasn't there. Simple as that.
Jalen, you spoke about defending the three-point line better. This is the first time in the series where Boston is shooting at that type of clip from deep. When they're shooting 50%, how much more difficult is it for that perimeter defense to get where you want it to be?
I mean, you can't give them the rhythm. We let them get in the rhythm, walk into threes early. And so, I mean, when you're giving a team like that the green light, it's hard to stop them. So from the jump, we got to be a little more intense on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, two more. Chris in there first.
Jalen, you I feel like maybe you've said it, but maybe not in these words. The team that the defending champs, obviously, when you beat Detroit, you said this is a different challenge. Is there just, for you all, given the way the regular season played out, the style they play, the skill they have, do you guys have less margin for error than they do fundamentally in a series like this? Just the nature of the comebacks and needing them and 20-point deficit tonight? Is it just too much to kind of fall behind by that much and then have that happen repeatedly?
I mean, yeah. I mean, against any NBA team, really. It's tough for comebacks to happen around the league. Yes, they're a great team. They have the experience. They're the defending champs. They have all that. I just don't think we want to be in the hole, a 20-point hole each game. It's not going to suit us well.
Jalen, coming off a loss, what does the group mindset just have to be as you coach game 4?
Learn from today. Learn from games 1 through 3, especially today, and then just come out with some more urgency. Be ready to go on Monday.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
I guess, Tom, just it seemed like from the start there was something missing today.
Well, they got the lead early. I thought we missed some shots early that impacted us, and they got confidence early in the game.
From our seat, it looked like there might have been a little defensive miscommunication throughout the game. Was there anything you saw on that end that concerned you from your guys?
And again, I got to look at the film. We got in a hole early, and I thought that took some energy away from us. So, got to make our corrections, get ready for the next one.
Coach, Boston, Crystal Rich. Coach, Boston really found their touch from downtown today. What was your overall takeaway from the perimeter defense?
Yeah, obviously we got to be better. They got some clean looks early, and they see it go in. That gives them confidence. Then it's hard to shut them off. So we have to have greater awareness. We can't allow missed shots to take away from defensive tenacity. So we got to bounce back.
Tom, any common threads you can see in the first quarters that are allowing them to get off to a stronger start than you guys so far?
And again, it's the urgency that you have to bring to a game, to a playoff game, and we knew they would come out with aggression, and we got to make sure we're bringing aggression and force as well. And and again, there's going to be runs where you're not making shots, then you get going with your defense, get a couple of easy baskets, then all of a sudden you get rhythm. So, we got to be better, and we will be.
On the hack of Mitch stuff, is there something you can do differently when they're doing it that much? Or?
Yeah, just, and again, you got to make a decision between 5 and 2, and then you go from there. And, if he's making, he stays, and if he's not, we got to get him out. And then, is the impact in the game, is that more beneficial to leave him in? So there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Tom, from your perspective, why didn't the group come out with the proper, intensity?
Yeah, and again, I think the intent was there, but it was, sometimes if you impact, if you miss shots, you tend to not have the same type of energy, and there's a lot of different ways you could help to win a game. And so you're not going to. No one's going to shoot great every night. There's going to be nights you don't shoot it that well, but do other things to help the team win. And that's basically what we've done all year. So, we fell short today, and we have to take a good hard look at the film and then get ourselves ready for the next game, because that's the only thing that is important, is the next challenge that you face. And that's our challenge.
Tom, what did you think of your guys' pick and roll defense, especially in the first half?
Yeah, same. There's going to be a lot of pick and rolls in the game. So, what we always do is we evaluate, how many were defended well, how many weren't defended well, how many did they make a tough shot against, was the scheme executed properly, was it done with the proper amount of intensity, was everyone tied together? So we'll look at all those things, and and again, they have a very good offensive team, and they play 5 out and it spreads you out. So your toughness and your discipline have to be tied together.
Were guys running the proper coverage in that first half?
Yeah, like some of it was, they made good plays, and our communication, like you got to be aggressive, you got to communicate well, and there has to be a second and third effort. And then even when the ball is shot, then you got to find bodies, and you can't give them a second and third crack at it. And so, again, I would rather evaluate the film, and then I'll know.
You talked earlier about earning a playoff victory. Do you feel this was Boston earning the victory today more so than what you did, Tom?
Well, that's what each game is. You have to earn it, and you're faced with a different challenge every game. Understand what that is, and you're concentrating on what wins the game. And, it's your defense, it's your rebounding, keeping your turnovers down. We know that in the playoffs, it's all about your defense, it's your toughness and your teamwork. And that's, there's going to be highs and lows. There's a lot of emotion involved in the playoffs, and you got to bounce back quickly. And, it's competition. It's imposing your will. It's all of those things.
Tom, it looked like Towns was trying to shake out that hand a little bit after he got whacked in the second quarter. Is that any concern? 5 for 18. I know he played 35 minutes, but
yeah, and again, it's the playoffs. People are going to get hit, and you got to play through things, and that's why you do it all. The entire season. No one's playing 100%, but you have to understand that you can play well when you're feeling less than your best. That's all part of it. I think the mental toughness part of this in the playoffs is huge.
Coach, what did you see from OG tonight offensively? It didn't seem like he got into any kind of rhythm.
Yeah, and the game is going to tell you what to do. So, we didn't get stops. We didn't get into the open floor like we would have liked. And when we do that, that tends to get everyone easy buckets, and we can play off that better.
Tom, 1-3 at home in the postseason. Are you surprised by the struggles at home and the way basically home court hasn't had much of an impact seemingly for you guys?
Yeah, and again, it's, I think you look at each game by itself, and you say, okay, we didn't lose the game because we were at home. We lost the game because we didn't do enough things to win the game. And so look at those things. That's what do you need to do to win that particular game, whether it's home or road. It really, that shouldn't matter. Understand what you have to put into winning.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Taking the shots when they're there, not listening to what people are saying on the outside about the shot selection. How do you guys kind of process that as a team, when the shots aren't going down, and how do you kind of react to that?
We just keep playing basketball. Obviously, we learn from every experience, so I think we do learn from our mistakes from the past games, but that still doesn't stop us from coming out and playing our style of ball. But we do and are aware of when to try to get better ones, when the momentum isn't going in our direction, and when to get to the basket, get to the paint, et cetera. So we just, learn from every game and we move forward.
Joe was saying in reference to these past 2 days, sometimes you get to tap into your darkness. Just for you, what were the past couple of days like? How do you guys have been through a lot these past years as a group in general. How do you guys kind of push everything aside and remain focused on what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I mean that's the playoffs. All the work you put in all year adds up to these moments. So this is the most important time of the year. It's the most important thing for all of us. So, and it's not going in our direction. We don't complain. We gotta find ways to win, dig deep, stay together as a group, and come out and perform. I think tonight we did a much better job of just playing 48 minutes.
After seeing so many quality looks not go down in the first two games, how much of a relief and a confidence booster was to see the process and the results align more closely today? And mentally, what does that do for managing when they start to go on a run?
It's great. When we got open shots, shoot them with confidence, knock them down. We got great shooters on this team. Still got to continue to get to the paint, continue to put pressure on the rim. And I think we can even, shoot the ball even better and even be more aggressive. And as we get more comfortable in this series, hopefully we'll be able to see that.
How's that experience kicked in? It's a 7-game series. So you go down 2-0 and the outside world is panicking. Do you guys know how long a series can be? How does that manifest itself, like in the locker room as the game's going on?
Yeah, you got to beat us 4 times. That's what it comes down to. Not twice, not once, not 3. You got to win 4 games. So it's a lot of basketball to be played.
Jalen, sorry, I don't want to jump in and be rude. We know, there were 20-point leads in the first 2 games as well. So when you get that big lead again, what was different? Was there any feeling of, all right, we're back there again, or how did you not fold this time and sort of punch back instead?
I think that third quarter just coming out with urgency and just keeping our foot on the gas and just playing all the way through, not letting up, not settling or getting a little complacent, just continuing to play basketball all the way through the game. So I think we did that tonight, and that's why the result was what it was.
Jim, when you guys, your character or your fortitude is challenged, has it been the last 72 hours, or whether you guys are going to, come out with aggression, or that you're going to roll over? Does that anger you? What does the last 72 hours be like or do you not listen to outside voices?
It's been like that my whole career, so it's really no different. People just, when adversity hits, people tend to, get excited or emotional, and we just got to stay the course. My job is to come out and help lead this team to wins. We haven't been doing that, but, I'm very optimistic that, the next game and the games to come that we will.
You don't get emotional at all, Jalen? Doesn't upset you at all?
Nope.
How do you not let frustration get in after losing 2 games at home? You come in here, everybody's talking about what this atmosphere is going to be like for the Knicks as opposed to you guys having gone through every type of atmosphere.
I thought it was a great atmosphere tonight. New York is always, has that aura. It's a bunch of celebrities in the house. I thought it was a great atmosphere tonight. Great environment for basketball, and it was fun. The first half was fun. The second half was even more fun. So I'm looking forward to Game 4.
How big was Peyton?
Peyton was huge. Peyton was great. New York likes to be, they physical. They got some big guards, wings that like to load up on the ball. They, the level of physicality is higher. So you got to be able to make those passes and be able to make those shots and make those plays. And Peyton did a great job of that tonight.
Jimmy, you guys are always caught in this identity between kind of like the idealized version of how you can be and the kind of pragmatic version. And you made that point after Game 1. You guys took a record number of threes. You wanted to kind of be more aggressive and get into the paint. And Joe said tonight that a big part of your guys' success was you were aggressive, getting into the spacing and transition, kind of just getting started early. So how much have you been trying to kind of personally seize control to kind of make you guys play the way that you want to play?
Yeah, I think, that's my job is to, I don't think anybody on our team or maybe even in the league can get into the paint like I can, especially when I'm moving and my body's feeling the way it should be. So that's my goal, is to get in the paint, finish, make them help, make them collapse, and then just find my guys for just open reads and play from there.
Does your body feel the way it should be right now?
It's the playoffs, so I've battled through injuries etc. But mentally, I'm just focused on the next game.
Jalen running down the floor with Al throughout the oop. Is there ever any hesitation?
No, I mean, I looked at him. He looked at me. We made eye contact, and I was like, I'm about to throw it. And he was like, all right. So I threw it to him, and he went and got it. So Al was great tonight. He made some big-time blocks, some big-time rebounds. And that's what we need, that level of physicality and that level of, aggressiveness on both ends. So big-time game from Al.
There was another one, Jalen, that was kind of like a give and go with you and Jason toward the end of the first half. I don't know if you remember it as well, but he was in full throttle, you got it right back. Does that show something just when you guys are kind of a little more in sync? You seem very in sync tonight.
Yeah, and I'm always trying to find ways to get JT going and get him open looks and things like that. New York has a physical defense, so they make it tough. But getting down transition, just like that opportunity you're talking about, is a way to get away from the defense and just get out and run.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yep.
Yeah, didn't have live ball turnovers, and did a good job ending quarters. The last 2 minutes of each quarter were much better than they had been the first two games. So those two things play a huge key against this team, and I thought we did that well. Better, yeah. He gave us some good stuff. Both ends of the floor, rim protection, his screening offensively, we were able to get some good stuff out of that. So I appreciate him, keep battling through.
Joe, you talked on Thursday about the importance of countering their runs and being able to manage them. Felt like every time they started to go on one, you guys were able to cut that off before it became something more problematic. What were the keys to that?
Not having live ball turnovers, valuing the basketball, rebounding, and not putting them to the free throw line.
Justin, Noah, Jay in that order.
Joe, you guys were able to hold the under 25 below 3 quarters, and the second quarter's under 26. What did you like most about what you guys did defensively?
Yeah, I mean, we gave them some stuff that they hadn't gotten the first two games. But when you don't have live ball turnovers, it doesn't lead to transition opportunities. So we took away their transition, which kept them in the half court. And then, for the most part, we defended at a high level, and we were able to keep them off the glass a decent amount. But we had good rim protection down there, protect the paint.
Joe, Peyton played more minutes in this game than he did in the first two. Was there something that you, when you were kind of reviewing those first two games, that made you want to kind of lean on him more tonight, and what did you see?
I mean, our sub patterns are always flexible. Tonight, Drew had 3 fouls, and Peyton was good, and you're just at times you go with what makes the most sense. So just the flexibility of what we were able to do. But he played really well on both ends of the floor for us. There was a little bit of foul trouble there, so we were able to kind of go to some different stuff.
Jay, then B-Rock. Oh, B-Rock. Joe. How pleased are you, Joe, just in terms of, it seems like you guys are eager to create quality looks out right off the bat, and going at Brunson and Towns repeatedly, how just the method of attacking you guys had offensively?
Yeah, we had some empty possessions, but we played with the right intentions of getting the right pace, the right spacing. We just have to continue to make those right reads, value the basketball. Didn't have 11 live ball turnovers. That helps a lot when you keep it in between the lines. And we did a good job of our spacing and making the right read.
Gary, Jared, then Jared.
Joe, how difficult, if at all, have the past 72 hours been in terms of just falling in that hole and then not at all?
No, not at all.
Why not, Joe?
I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. There's no one way of how it's supposed to go. I mean, people that you get caught up when your expectations aren't met, and so there's no expectations there. We're on a path of trying to go after greatness, and you don't get to dictate the test that's in front of you. All you get to dictate is how you approach it and how you respond to it. So if you plan on doing this for a long time, trust me, it'll be a lot worse than those last 72 hours, and that's the perspective you have to have. So at the end of the day, we got a test in front of us, and I got a group of guys that I wouldn't want anyone else to be able to go through that. So this is the fun part. You don't get into the journey for it to be easy. So it's been dark, but in a good way.
Dark? How dark? Like, what's that mean?
I mean, like, you just got to tap into your darkness, and that's it. Like, so we got to do it. That's it.
Sure. You guys are always kind of squeezing advantages out of everything, and I feel like a big way you do that is in the post. You generally only really post cross matches, and spent a lot of time kind of trying to get Brunson into the post ups earlier in the series. Tonight, you just kind of went straight to Hart, Bridges, whoever. did you guys feel like you needed to kind of maybe just focus on getting something that was there that you figured would be something you could go with as opposed to like really maximizing mismatches?
I thought that came organically tonight just because of our pace, and I thought Jalen, he was able to get out there and early in transition and get some of those matchups that he liked, and so I thought his pace offensively got us some of those post-ups, and then we looked to generate those out of some of the half-court stuff. But to me, it just starts with the pace at which you play with to get that type of spacing, to get those cross matches, to try to get what you're looking for. And I thought Jalen got off to a good start on that.
But does that show decisiveness? Like, do you guys need to just kind of be decisive and forceful as opposed to like letting things come to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you do that by how fast, like the pace that you play with. Like, can you get to your spacing quickly? Usually, when you're right, like when you can dictate a sense of tempo by getting out to your spacing as quick as possible, then it's easier to see the reads that are there. And we were good. We were deliberate in that tonight. Decent in the first two games, but it was better tonight.
Final three questions, Jared, Michael. OG, just 7 points the last 2 games after a big game one. What have you guys done well to slow him down?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player, so you're not going to be able to do that all the time. But to me, he gets a lot of stuff in the half court on your help reads, and he's one of the best defenders in getting in passing lanes, getting out in transition, and so we have to be able to. The best way to defend these guys is to attack them with proper spacing, proper reads, so that we don't have live ball turnovers and allow them to get out in transition and rebound. And so you just have to take care of those margins.
Tatum made a few threes early, but what was your general impression of just his decision making?
Yeah, whether it was his pick and roll ball handling or screening, just kind of as long as we get to the spacing that we want, those guys do a great job of getting the shot that they want each and every possession. We just have to work to continue that, whether you make the right read for yourself or for the people around you.
I'm sorry. With Robinson on the free throw, like he was really kind of bothered by how bad he was missing in the beginning. You stuck with it even into the second half when the margin was pretty high. Was that just because what you saw by how bad he was missing, or you're just going to stick with it no matter what the score is?
Yeah, just process over results. You just always stick to the process of what you think gives you the best chance to win on that possession and to win in that game.
One more for Alex.
Joe, is it as simple as shots falling? You guys?
No, I mean that's the easy thing to look at. But we won the end of quarters, and we didn't have 11 live ball turnovers. I can't stress to you the importance of not throwing the ball to the other team so they get out in transition. And they have 28 points in transition in game 2, and not ending quarters well. When it's at 20 and it gets to 12 with 58 seconds left, and you have to end quarters, you have to start quarters well, you have to value the basketball, you have to win the margins. I can't stress that's all we talked about for the last 72 hours, and that's the most important thing.
Great. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.